Welcome to Pomegranate Radio with your host, Jonathan Cook.
Good evening, Pomegranate Nation. Jonathan here in the Pomegranate Radio booth. In celebration of 2 years of bringing you nothing but the very best in pretentious overanalysis and opinionated opinions, I thought it would be fun to, much like our very first episode, discuss and defend a film almost universally agreed to be so very bad. So bad, it's good. However, seeing as I am all alone in the booth, you'll have to settle for my take on Birdemic, Shock and Terror. With a title like that, how can we possibly go wrong? By adding a director so oblivious that he sincerely believes he's made a great horror film. Let's check it out. Birdemic. See the fine cinema verite Dogme 95 cinematography. Why use color correction? Hear that glorious soundtrack. No one will notice the gaps between loops. Witness the fearless guerrilla-style filmmaking as our lead actor's car is nearly run into by a truck just so they could get yet another driving shot. This is Birdemic. We don't need to properly expose the lighting. We don't need to stabilize the camera. We don't even need drop shadows for our titles. Well, at least they didn't use Comic Sans. Supporting casts. That's a new one. Maybe new one didn't know that while you can have multiple actors, they collectively make up a single cast. Is he constipated? It's either that or he's really self-conscious being on camera, which couldn't possibly be since he surely had to audition for the role and they would have had to know that, Then again, who else could they have gotten to be in this garbage?
Hi.
Let's see that again.
Hi.
I'm way too sober for this.
Hi.
Cinematic gold? Cinematic gold.
Here is a menu.
Thank you.
What is
I'll be
with
right back with
the
you.
sound? It's like they didn't know how to eliminate any of the noise and couldn't be bothered to dub anything. Even Tommy Wiseau was smart enough to know when to overdub. That was the second most awkward stare lustfully at a girl scene I've ever seen. And why does he have 3 drinks on his table? Okay, so I'm not going to drag you through the film scene by scene. That might give me retinal cancer. But I do feel you need a real indication of just how ineptly made this film truly is. Take everything you just saw, and now imagine a full 90 minutes of that. Oh yeah, don't forget the birds. Oh yeah, them some fine special effects right there. Thing is, as badly made as this film is, it has a certain charm because of how badly made it is. The director simply had no idea what he was doing, and so he Indiana Jonesed it. He made it up as he went along. And on a certain level, that's admirable. How many aspiring filmmakers give up because of lack of funds or limited resources? James Nguyen made do with $10,000 and a can-do attitude. Sure, the end product is one of the worst films you'll ever see, but it does exist. It got made and it found an audience. And when Morgan, Will, and I watched Birdemic on New Year's Eve, the three of us were laughing out loud for the entire length of the film. We had a blast with the terrible dialogue and the god-awful special effects. We loved pointing out things like the lead actress's filthy feet during the love scene, or how shooting at the birds, attacking a bus, will probably kill the people on the bus, since the birds are between the guns and the bus. We loved rewinding and rewatching the birds dive bomb a gas station. What's not to love about that? Yes, very nearly everything that could possibly be wrong with the film is wrong with Birdemic. And if you were rating the film purely on that criteria, it might get a 1 out of 10, probably a 0.5. But taken as a piece of entertainment, Birdemic is a solid 9. You can sit down with your friends, have a nice cold pink lemonade, and have a hell of a good time with this film. And that goes a long way towards redeeming many so-called bad films. I don't like Birdemic or The Room because either is a cinematic masterpiece. I like them because I have fun laughing at their flaws, their absurdities. Compare Birdemic or The Room to something like God's Not Dead, which is infinitely more competently made, and yet is a far less enjoyable experience. Every character is a caricature. The script does nothing but pander to the film's intended audience. The central conflict is absurdly overblown, and the central argument is so poorly constructed that a scrappy third grader with autism could explain the problem with its supposed logic. You cannot take God's Not Dead seriously as a film, but you can't laugh at its flaws either. Because the people who made it knew what they were doing well enough to produce a technically competent film, the audience expects the whole package to be competent. And when it's not, the flaws are all the more pronounced and all the more unforgivable. Birdemic, on the other hand, succeeds in being at least entertaining because no one seemed to know what they were doing. No DP worth anything is going to film a movie this way, unless the director specifically requests it for aesthetic reasons. And James Nguyen is not that kind of director. All you have to do is look at Birdemic 2 to see that he is a director who learned, sort of, from his mistakes on Birdemic. Should you watch this film? Absolutely. Much like The Room, Birdemic's shock and terror is something any film lover should see, if only to laugh at it. Get some friends together, grab a case of fine pink lemonade, and prepare yourself for 90 minutes of absurd, inept fun. This is Jonathan for Pomegranate Radio. Thank you for listening. You've been beautiful. Have a good night.
Pomegranate.